Hi everyone, Patrick here. Today's video will be SFF Spotlight episode 75. And in today's video, I have about 18 topics to cover. So episode 75, that means just 25 episodes left and then I will reach episode 100. Hopefully that will happen in the year 2025. And I just want to say thank you so much to all of you who keep on tuning into my SFF Spotlight videos. And without further ado, this is a series of videos where I talk about new book news, new cover reveal, new special edition, new Kickstarter campaign, and also noteworthy release in the adult science fiction and fantasy genre. So let's begin today's episode of SFF Spotlight. For the first one, let's talk about some new book news first. And for the first one, I just want to mention something about Vinland Saga. Apparently, Vinland Saga, there's only a few chapters before it is ending, and I feel sad about that. Because I love Vinland Saga, it is one of my favorite manga and also one of my favorite anime series of all time. And to think that it is finally ending, I think Makoto Yukimura is planning to end this in the year 2025. And if that ends up coming true, that means Vinland Saga will be 20 years long. It's about time, and I think Vinland Saga is certain to become a classic in the future. There's a lot of good reasons why so many people love the manga series and the anime series. It is a story about kindness, perseverance, revenge, and so many great things. Really, I highly recommend it. And speaking of classic, the next topic, this is about Discworld by Terry Pratchett. So The Night Watch, that's one of the books in the Guard series or the Night Watch series. I forgot the name of the sub-series in the Discworld, but it begins with the Guards. So I think The Night Watch is one of the books in that series, and it is going to become a classic, a part of the Penguin Classic in the year 2025. So that is awesome. And I think some of you know that I haven't finished reading a single book by Terry Pratchett yet, and I plan to fix that in the year 2025, either with Guards or maybe with Small Gods. I'm still not sure which one I would tackle first, but I plan to fix this in the year 2025. Let me know which one you think I should try. I have actually tried reading Mort a long time ago, maybe 2 years ago, I think, or 3 years ago, but I couldn't really get into it. So hopefully Guards and maybe Small Gods will be a better reading experience for me. And then after that, before we start talking about new cover reveals and also more new book news, this is regarding the 10th year of SPFBO competition. All the finalists have been announced. So this consists of some books that I actually know, like Mushroom Blues by Adrian M. Gibson, Runelight by Janice Andrews, Wolf of Withervale, Gates of Hope, and then By a Silver Thread by Rachel Aaron. I look forward to finding out which one will become the champion of self-published fantasy block of competition this year, but this sounds very exciting to me. Moving on to the next one, this is actually about The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. So The Devils, I had the opportunity to read this one very early, and I absolutely love The Devils. I suspect that this is Joe Abercrombie. Joe Abercrombie is one of my favorite authors of all time. But anyway, The Devils is awesome. And apparently the physical and the final version will be even better because it will contain interior illustrations of the characters illustrated by Joel Daniel Phillips. Some of the character illustrations have been posted online by Tor Books and Galangs. They are for Alex, and then Viga Wolf, and then Baron Ricard, and also Baptiste. They are all done in a Byzantine style illustration, and they are so fitting to the book. And I look forward to finding out the remaining character illustrations, especially for Jacob and also Balthazar. On top of that, Joe Abercrombie has mentioned that the Devil's trilogy will be like a loose connecting trilogy. So it's kind of like a standalone trilogy, similar to the Great Levelers trilogy in the first Low World, like Berserk Code, The Heroes, and Red Country. They are connected to one another, but each one of them can have their own self-contained story. That's the plan anyway, and I look forward to reading the second book. I don't know whether that will happen next year or maybe in 2026, but yeah, these are great news in my opinion for fans of Joe Abercrombie and for those of you who are waiting for The Devils. And now moving on to the next section of SFF Spotlight, time to talk about some cover reveals. I want to spotlight 4 cover reveals today, and the first one, this cover is awesome. This is for a new book coming in the year 2025, and it is a debut novel. The title is The 7 Recipes for Revolution. And yeah, this is by Ryan Rose. The cover art is done by Kerby Rosanes, the legendary Kerby Rosanes. And this one will be published by Daphne Press. And yeah, I look forward to reading this one very much. This book has been pitched as Attack on Titan meets The Bear. And yeah, what a combination, right? But after reading the premise, it actually reminded me of Toriko, the manga Toriko. I don't know whether some of you know about this manga or not, but seriously, if you know about this manga, it is about characters trying, they gain power by eating monsters, the monsters they cook. And that's quite similar to the 7 recipes for revolution. So yeah, I look forward to reading this one as soon as I can, but I actually have the advanced reading copy for this one already, but this time I think I will wait until early next year before I start reading this book, because I got some complaints about reading the Devils, about reading and reviewing the Devils early, and if possible I want to kind of avoid that. But you know what, from the premise and the cover art, I think this one will be a blast to read. And then the second cover reveal I want to spotlight, this is for one of my most anticipated series to read in the year 2025, and this is for the conclusion to the Library trilogy by Mark Lawrence, the book that held her heart. The cover art is once again illustrated by Tom Roberts, and this time it features the color pink and red. So all 3 cover art have been revealed: yellow, blue, and now red. And yeah, I look forward to reading this trilogy. I have been a fan of reading Mark Lawrence books, even though I have some mixed experience with some of his books. But Book of the Ancestors is one of my favorite trilogy of all time, and I expect the Library trilogy will be the same. If you have read the Library trilogy and most of Mark Lawrence books, do let me know which one of his series is your favorite. And moving on to the next one, this is for Arcane. Arcane is getting a novel, and the title of the book is Ambessa, Chosen of the Wolf, written by C.L. Clarke. And yeah, with the imminent release of the 2nd season of Arcane, that's next week, I think in a few days. Probably, wait, is it happening tomorrow or the day after tomorrow? But yeah, it's really soon. The first phase of the 2nd season of Arcane is happening really soon, and I'm so looking forward to watching that. I have done my rewatch of the 1st season of Arcane, and now there's the news of a new novel. And I have read Ruination as well. That takes place in the world of the League of Legends, basically same as Arcane. And I hope this one will be a great novel. The cover art is done by Kudos Production with an art direction by Lauren Panepinto. I certainly look forward to reading this one. Hopefully it will be as fun and as good as Ruination. And finally, the last cover reveal, this is for The Black Mantle by Andrew Watson, the 2nd book in the Shadowbinders trilogy. The 1st book was The Harbinger of Justice, and Felix Ortiz is once again back to illustrate the cover art. And in my opinion, this is actually one of Felix Ortiz's best cover art. There's this sense of movement, and even though the color use is limited, this is actually becoming one of the most striking cover art done by Felix Ortiz. And I look forward to reading this series as soon as I can as well. But I want to say congratulations to my friend and also my fellow booktubers, Andrew Watson, for this cover reveal. And hopefully the book will do well. But that's it on the coverage of cover reveal. Now let's talk about special editions. I have 3 special editions I want to spotlight, and then after that I will talk about 3 Kickstarter campaigns. But for the special edition, the first one that I want to spotlight, this is about the newest publication, the newest upcoming publication by Curious King. As some of you might know, I'm a huge fan of Curious King. I think they are probably right now, even though their books are expensive, but in terms of production value, I think they are right now the best producer when it comes to fantasy and sci-fi novel for Fine Press Books. And their next book, it will be a classic. It will be The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. And there will be 2 standard editions this time, the black edition and also the white edition or the champagne edition. Let me know which one you like more, but these 2, they look absolutely gorgeous. There will be 375 copies each, and this edition will be illustrated by one of the legendary artists in the fantasy genre, Gianni. There will be a total of almost 30 black and white illustrations, and also I think about 15 or 16 fully colored art. So yeah, it will be an insane edition, and of course it is letterpress printing as well. And then moving on to the next one, this is for The Way of Eden, the Broken Binding Press edition by Philip Chase, my friend Philip Chase. And for this one, the cover art done by Rene Aigner has been revealed, and I was the art director for this one together with Phillips, and I'm really proud of how everything came together for The Way of Edan. I really like reading this trilogy. I think Phillips did such a great job with his first series, and I'm so glad that I can play a part in producing this special edition for his books. And yeah, there will be a broken binding press edition for The Way of Edan, and I will leave all the details to this edition in the description down below. But yeah, I really like the cover art. The cover art is meant to be partly reminiscent of the Lord of the Rings, the beginning portion, and that's what we tried to get with this cover art. The beginning portion of The Way of Edan before all the chaos and all the battles. And I hope many of you like it, and I look forward to the final print of The Way of Edan, the Broken Binding Press edition. And lastly, speaking of the Broken Binding has announced they will be releasing their edition of the Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini. And yeah, this one is a big one. Ever since the release of Murta, I have been wanting to do a reread of Eragon and then continue with the series, and hopefully I can do that as soon as I can, because I want to find out why so many people love the series so much. Even though I know the age of the reader when they started reading Eragon played a huge part in loving the series, but I still want to find out why so many people love the series, find out about the content of the books past the first book, Eragon. I don't know when that will happen though, hopefully soon. But if you're interested in getting yourself a copy of the Inheritance Cycle, the Broken Binding edition, make sure to fill out the interest form that is provided in the link in the description down below. I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of people who have signed to the interest form, because this is a very popular series. And now, speaking of Eragon and also Inheritance Cycle, let's move on to the Kickstarter campaign. Raidmark just announced their Kickstarter campaign for Saphira, a statue of Saphira, and right now it has exceeded, I think, 500,000 US dollars. Yeah, it is that insane. I'm pretty sure it will reach $1 million by the end of the Kickstarter campaign. And I don't know, maybe some of you actually want a statue of Saphira, then this is your chance. But seriously, this is so awesome of Raidmark, and I'm happy for them for this massive success for this Dragon Rider epic fantasy. And speaking of Dragon Rider epic fantasy, the next one I want to showcase is a Kickstarter campaign for the second set in the Riders of Fire series by Eileen Mueller. I actually just got the first omnibus here. Ta-da! This is the first omnibus. It consists of Ezara, Dragon Hero, and Dragon Rift. It has this beautiful design to the front cover, gilded edges, and this is the back cover. And on the back, we have this gorgeous and paper illustrations by Joe Abercrombie. So yeah, the Kickstarter campaign for the second set is live now, I think, and is about to end in a few days. And it will, just like this edition, the first set, it will contain many new interior illustrations by Joe Abercrombie again. And the second set will contain the book for the, I think, book 4 until book 6 of the series, concluding the Riders of Fire series. And finally, the last Kickstarter campaign I want to spotlight. This one, the Kickstarter campaign hasn't gone live yet, but this is for Conqueror's Blood by Zamil Akhtar, the ultimate addition to the second book in the Gunmetal Gods series. I have posted a special edition review and unboxing of the first Gunmetal Gods book. That was for the Gunmetal Gods Ultimate Collector's Edition. And yeah, it is as awesome as expected. If I have one criticism for that one, I think it's really only the thin paper. Hopefully Conqueror's Blood will have a thicker paper. I have actually talked about this with Zamil Akhtar, and he planned to make that happen. And well, Zamil has revealed some of the artwork inside this edition of Conqueror's Blood, and they are all awesome so far, by Hazem Amin, Andrew Maleski, Omer Burak Onal, and there will be more for sure. The Kickstarter campaign for this one will go live on the 12th of November, so yeah, that's next week. And right now, more than 900 people are already waiting for the Kickstarter campaign to go live. And if you're interested in it, you can check out the Kickstarter campaign in the description down below as well. And finally, moving on to the final section of today's SFF Spotlight episode, time to talk about some new noteworthy release. I only have 4 noteworthy releases to spotlight today, and the first one is for This Inevitable Ruin by Matt Dinniman. I think if you're watching this, you might have known about this book. This is the 7th book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, and the paperback edition just received a surprise drop, and it's instantly went up to the top 10 best-selling book in the entire Amazon store. That's just insane. I really did not expect the Dungeon Crawler Car has become this popular, and it is certainly popular now. And I haven't started reading this series yet. I know it will become one of my priority series in the year 2025. I have made that a priority, and I will make it happen. Not completing the series, or maybe completing the series, but I certainly plan to start reading the series in the year 2025. I pretty much heard nothing but amazing things about Dungeon Crawler Carl series. But if you're waiting for the Kindle edition, it will be available on the 11th of November. So yeah, only a few days from now, only 2 days from now. And the next release I want to spotlight, this is for The Teller of Small Fortunes by Julie Leong. If you're a fan of cozy fantasy, then you will have to try reading this one. And honestly, even if you're not a fan of cozy fantasy, I still would highly recommend this one if you're in the mood for something more relaxing and comforting. It is a short read anyway, but do not expect tension. Do not expect high-stake tension coming out of this cozy fantasy novel. It is a cozy fantasy novel after all, and I really like it. The fun family theme was really well done. And yeah, I think it is the best cozy fantasy novel ever since Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. And then after that, the next release out of the spotlight, this is for one of my favorite books. It is Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wang. Well, you know my passion and also my love for M.L. Wang's books. For The Sword of Kaigan and also for Blood Over Brighthaven. I had the opportunity to read and review Blood Over Brighthaven when it was still self-published, and now it has been traditionally published. The traditionally published edition is out now, and yeah, I expect the traditional published edition will receive another round of editing, so it will make the book more polished compared to the self-published edition even more, even though I think the self-published fantasy edition is already really good. Really good. It is one of my favorite standalone novel. So yeah, I highly recommend you to read that as well. And then finally, the last book I want to spotlight today, and also the last topic of today's SFF Spotlight video, this is for Monstrous Knights by Genoveva Dimova, the second book and the final book in the Witch Compendium of Monsters duology. Now, I have read pretty much every anticipated debut that I want to read in the year 2024, except Foul Days. And yeah, Foul Days, hopefully I can read that within this month, or maybe in December before the year ends, because I want to decide which one is my favorite debut of the year 2024. I don't know, maybe Foul Days will end up taking the crown. We'll see whether that happens or not. But if not, then I will read this in the year 2025, because I don't know, I'm just so busy and it all depends on my reading mood and schedule. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's episode of SFF Spotlight. As always, do let me know what you think about all the news that I spotlighted in the comment section down below. Let me know which one excites you the most. And as always, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.